Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Brought to you by TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right, welcome back. Time to do some sports concepts and rationalizations. We do that. We call it the 10-minute drill. We exchange a few thoughts here. And during the segment, at some point in time, you at home listening, you in your car listening, you with a phone nearby will be able to dial 641-1010 and receive what, Steve Booty Beef?
You're going to get a pair of tickets to the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl coming up next Monday, December 31st, and that includes a pair of concert field passes for the Cole Swindell concert immediately following the game.
Pretty good stuff. So I may do that midstream. I may do it at the end. I may do it now. You just don't know, but
stay on the trigger.
641-1010. Be listening. Lauren, I'll kick off the extravaganza here. I feel like I'm getting the hiccups, sorry. Do you know who Juwan Buechele-Beatty is? Juwan Buechele-Beatty?
I do not.
No, he's a Michigan right tackle, and he's the Wolverines' fourth draft-eligible player to pull out of Saturday's Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl against number 10 Florida. I'll ask you to please stay off that for the Friday 5-pack.
I believe you said yesterday you would take Florida
yes.
points, so I had a feeling that
yes.
that would be one of your five.
I mean, listen, tackle's an important position.
By the way, tell the people now is not the time.
No, you can't call now, but it's okay.
You said maybe now, but no.
No, I didn't
now.
say. I'll give you.
Yeah, you have to wait for a caller.
We'll clear the board here is what we'll do.
Yeah.
But anyway, Juwan Buechele-Beatty is a right tackle. That's an important position.
Yeah.
Your best player on defense on the D-line, that's important. Your best linebacker, that's important. Have all pulled out of and your best running back, also very important.
Yeah.
Have all pulled out of the game. Listen, I know you can do an us against the world thing if you're Harbaugh. And Harbaugh's done fairly well in the bowl games, and the Gators have never beaten Michigan. But if not now, when, Lauren Brooks? If not now, when?
Sure. Well, going into that Ohio State game, Dan, if you had asked me to put money on a game, like actual money, I would have put $1,000 on Ohio State to win. Because, yes, Michigan has this highly touted defense, but their offense has not caught up to that. And Ohio State, can certainly score 60, as they did, in any given game. And while Florida's not nearly as talented offensively as as Ohio State, I do think Florida's a balanced offense. And that's, I think, going to be the key to be able to defeat Michigan. Even if those players were there, I still think Florida can win this football game because they can do enough between the running backs, between the talented wide receivers, which finally, by the way, Florida has talented wide receivers. The offensive line has done an excellent job of protecting. And you've got a quarterback in Felipe Franks who understands where to get the football. He's improved so much from a season ago in understanding that. He knows when to get rid of the football. So I do think Florida's balance on offense is going to be able to take out that highly stout Michigan defense. And yes, Shea Patterson, it came out, he will return next season for Michigan. Ooh la la, whatever. I don't think that plays a factor whatsoever. So I'm excited to hear that you're going to take Florida in the points in the 5-pack. All right. Question for you, Jaguars related. Blake
Yes.
Bortles was asked yesterday about his future with the team. He said he has heard absolutely nothing. His agents heard nothing. Do you think they're handling the situation the right way, or do you think at this point they should have already communicated something to him?
No, they don't owe him anything. They're paying him a ton of money. That's the way the business is. They are keeping all their options open. So, maybe there's a scenario where Blake Bortles is back. I can't imagine there is, but maybe there is, or certainly are reports that that's not going to be the case. Maybe maybe he's hanging around as a backup here. I don't know, but they're the bosses, and that's how it works. So no, he's not owed anything. They're not. It's not a bad look for the franchise. This is how things are handled in the National Football League. There's a business side that is cold and harsh, but you're also compensated wonderfully. So it just depends on how you look at it. But I don't have a problem with what they're doing in that respect whatsoever.
By the way, one quick thing going back to Florida, Michigan. Shea Patterson, watch out for Ja'Kai Polite. I wanted to mention him since you said the right tackle will be out. Yikes.
That's a good point. So, we'll see. Listen, yesterday was thank you, Beef. Yesterday was a bad look for the bowl games. It wasn't impressive in any way, shape, or form. But I think if you take it for what it's worth and you look at the bowl games and you're a sports fan, my narrative or my thought is, you're sitting at home, you have time off, you're there with your family. Do you want to watch a bowl game, or do you know you can only watch so many movies? I think I'm watching football. So I know yesterday it was a work day for me, but I had football on all day. I don't care if there's nobody there. I like football. I like to watch football. If I have time off, I really like to watch football. It's something to do for me. So, are you bothered by these small, insignificant crowds at all at these bowl games?
Bothered? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. I had a chance, of course, like you did, drive 6 hours, go to Florida v. Michigan in the Peach Bowl. Mm-hmm. Although I have to work Sunday morning, but regardless, let's say I didn't. And I would never spend, we talked about this yesterday in the break, you're spending about $150 per ticket, plus, of course, gas to get there and then the hotel. I personally would never spend that on a bowl game that does not matter. It is insignificant to my school and to me. Therefore, I don't blame people for not spending a lot of money to go to these bowl games. In fact, if the community really wants them to come, the tickets should honestly be almost free. And then, yes, pay for the hotels, buy all the food, support the community like that. But tickets to bowl games that don't matter should not be that expensive, $150. And I'm sure you didn't pay for 50-yard line, row 3 seats, right? These are just a normal ticket price.
It's a good question. I don't know where the tickets are. Better be good seats, though.
But yeah, no, I don't blame people for not going whatsoever. And I think the college football playoff obviously changed everything. You now, if your team is in it, you now have to try and figure out if you're going to go to the semifinal or the final game if your team makes it there, or both. You're going to be spending thousands of dollars in a year that your team is actually in it. So the years that your team is not, why would you spend that much money? Yeah. There are a ton. Like, I tell you where it's hard. I was talking to my friend down at work last night, Garrett Biedenbaugh. Yes. Whose parents are big Clemson fans. Okay. And so if you're a Clemson fan or an Alabama fan the last few years, where do you put the money? Because, okay, some people, look. Sure. You want to be there for that first national championship, but you have a conference championship game in Charlotte. Okay, this is on top of going to home games, right? Right. If you're a huge fan and you're in the area, you go to the home games. Then you have a conference championship. Let's go to that. That's in Charlotte. Now it's the Final Four. So then you go to the first round, which could be in Arizona, could be in New Orleans, could be in Miami. Regardless, it's not in the Carolinas. So you're traveling. Then, if you win that game, then do you try to get to the national championship, which, by the way, that game is all sold out. Go ask Hashtag about spending money for that one. Yeah. He had to come off the wallet big time last year. So you have to sort of almost it's a great problem to have, and I would love to be a fan of a team that has this problem where you've gone to the Final Four like 3 or 4 years in a row. You roll the dice. Well, let's skip the semifinal game and hope they get. And if they get to that, then we'll go. And then, well, this year we're not going to go. We went last year, or we went to the conference championship game and we went to the semifinal. We don't have any money left to go to the national championship game. I mean, it's a lot of money. Anytime you travel with a family, whether you're driving or flying, you're spending, but hotel and tickets and food. It's going to, depending on how long you go. Now, some people easily over $1,000. Easily. Yeah. Some people can do it prudently and go, okay, look, they're playing like if you're a Gator fan, okay? I remember I talked to Ox about this, Ox Guggen. One year when Florida played for the national championship in Miami. Yep, Florida, Oklahoma. Drove down game day. Okay. You drive down game day, you get there early, you're there all the festivities, you buy the ticket, you go to the game, and then you can either crash down there because the game's going to end around midnight, or you hightail it back to Jacksonville, get as far as you can, get a cheap sleep off the side of the road, and get about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, you hit one of those places and get about 4 or 5 hours, get up and finish the trek. But that's about the best you're going to do. Regardless, it costs a lot of money to the consumers. I went to Florida versus Arkansas in the SEC championship. Okay. Year. Did you go game day? I went Friday night, but did not have a hotel room. Right. And so had to find some people to crash with both Friday night and Saturday night. Oh, and then that's a challenge. I was with my brother. He had friends that went, so it was fine. But it was so much fun, and it's so worth it when your team wins. It's just the gamble of, am I going to see a win or a loss? And I think the semifinal game, for me, I don't think I would ever go to one of those. I think there are 40. I would way rather pay the money for the championship. I think there are 41 bowl games this year. Is that right? That sounds right. 41. Now, is that too many? Of course it is. But I got news for you, gang. They wouldn't do it unless somebody's making money off it. Sure. That somebody is
ESPN.
Yeah, the programmers.
So they don't, like I said, the communities themselves have to decide, if they're profitable for their community and such, and ultimately they do decide that whether they stay or they go. And there's always some jockeying each year. A couple will fall off, a couple will be added on. I don't get some of the cities will do 3 bowl games, right? Doesn't Orlando have 3 at Camping World Stadium? I believe they have 3 bowl games
Sounds
there.
Right. That's a lot.
Yeah, and if you go look at some other cities, Dallas may have 3.
Dallas has a ton.
Because I know Dallas had one yesterday that didn't make it.
That didn't exactly survive. All right, one final question for you. I'm going to give you 4 choices. You have to pick one answer.
Ready.
If Brooks Hicken was going to play college football for one of the 4 coaches in the college football playoff, who would you want him to play for? Nick Saban, Lincoln Riley, Dabo Swinney, or Brian Kelly? You only get one.
Well, first off, I would let Brooks Hicken decide on his own.
But if you're
give him some
father,
wisdom.
Tua Tagovailoa's
It's been decided,
father,
son. This is
you
our
decide.
culture.
Right.
I like that culture, by the way, where the parent decides
Sure.
everything. I'm okay with that.
17, 18-year-old doesn't know anything.
And you can always whap him on the rear end if you don't like him. Now,
think that's
maybe if
fully
he throws
appropriate.
an interception, you shouldn't hit him with the belt. I get that part. But Tua says that's not the case. That's a really good question. I'm not sure I have I was trying to think, okay, who's going to get me to the NFL? That's my first, I really want to play.
So that's Nick.
Well,
Most likely.
well, yeah, I guess. But Lincoln Riley is thought of as the new hot coach who's going to go to the NFL, and his principles are being raved about and being borrowed, and so maybe that's the way to go if you want to be kind of on that cutting edge. But I love Dabo. I think
love
Dabo
Dabo.
would be the most fun to play for.
Yeah.
But Saban and the discipline and what he can instill in you at Alabama and the competitiveness and going against that defense every day make you. I think Jalen Hurts got even better as a. Oh, sorry. I think Jalen Hurts got even better this year by going against that team in practice. And became a better passing quarterback, and he'll succeed more so at the next level. So I guess I really dodged that. I don't know. I sort of eliminated Brian Kelly.
You did.
Which isn't, fair either. I don't know him very well. I'd probably know the other 3. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to it. So I'll let him decide.
Well, that's actually something we are going to banter about tomorrow morning with the ladies. I'm going to ask them that question since both of them have sons and get their perspective. Because, of course, Dan and Jeff are both off tomorrow. Jeff is still on a boat.
Oh.
Dan is going to the Peach Bowl. I'm on a boat. That's right. So the ladies of Helmets and Heels will have the show tomorrow morning.
Very good.
All right, Dan, you want to give away?
Yeah,
our
let's do
prize?
it. TaxSlayer Gator Bowl tickets right now to caller number 4 at 641-1010, 641-1010. Doc Kevin Murphy in the house. Today, we may have him stand up and sing on Brave Old Army Team after that bowl performance by his squad. Ooh, 70 you hung on him? 70 points. That and more next on The Drill.